This one's a little bit longer. It doesn't have a name at all. It's just second draft poetry is what it says. I stand on the door of my own self-conscious, overflowing the flavor and capacity of my palate for dreaming on those shores where food is love and sex is magic. With smoke-stained eyes and drug-filled brains stewing my beliefs into whatever ear was nearest my breast, and heartbeats drowned out my desire for the connection to only a superficial thud that was made in the shoulder joint, pushed cunts to oblivion, and heaven dripped from my fingers and chin, down the alleys of discontent when my father lived with a gun on his lips and said, "Who are you?" I strolled down Las Ramblas with gunpowder in my pockets and a knife at my throat urging me forward, my own captive mind screaming for release from the psychosis, then blues, then flamenco, then wedding marches, all feet stomping in a cadence familiar flung from home. The pith and knot of muscles ripped and blood disgorged to hear what breath meant, to hear those words that are just a symbol for heaven, for peace, for all good that means nothing outside, a false sense of understanding. Humans or trust or the goodness of man, no dowries to the man on the hill, whom we were promised to at birth and follow like voles in the light, arm on shoulder, arm on shoulder, arm on shoulder, to death. Souls of this America lie broken and question what sisterhood or brotherhood can exist without this demon that led us into traps for oil, fire, and death. We carry hope in a knapsack, tuckered like children, and reflect on four people's mistrust and embrace whatever is here now. For it cannot be as bad as it seems, as bad as it was, as bad as the dreams that led us chasing snakes through our sleeping hours, the forest of grass that blanket our conscious existence, then wake seeking wholeness, and a $10 tomato on Saturdays and weekends while chasing all things green and inedible and every day of our lives, and lovers kept at arm's length and wives looking for our shoulders or screaming in the face of whoever is still paying attention. Now evil women dying at arm's length and fingers stretched as far as I can run from our love because it's pity wrapped in guilt, wrapped in hate, tied up by a life of lies whose ribbons sparkle like chains of jeans and pretty pictures that remove our God, because we know something, if not by touch, then by sight, of mountains and land and farms and farmers that breathe each day and kill to feed our fat bellies, miles away, sweat and toil not for their own existence, but for ours. We've grown too tired and far and simple in our beliefs that mind is represented in the paper of transcripts and words from those we pay to count our worth, whose families wonder what frames their existence. All is lost and dream of people and lands that have existed in lives and sameness for thousands of years, but gadgets make us smart, and money makes us whole, and our self-importance makes us worthless, and these words are worthless. Worthless as any and every that escaped from your own lips or my own. For words mean nothing without action, and action is just an idea that died with our hippie parents' ideals and changed into drug-riddled bodies to fund wars to divide people that mean nothing to us. Nothing. Who resides in our parents' basement, knees bloodied with thanks. Nothing. To who live off accounts that fuel and are fueled by false ideas of worth, of nothing, and bring an identity of nothing. No struggle, nothing. Who writes poems, static and undefined, whose unframed perception is crumbling before eyes widened by an exception to the concrete finished rules, self-imposed ridiculous doubts, and uncomposed sense of a worth left on a shelf at the back of a dark and empty closet for years. Opens, bursting, blood and cum and snot and disease-riddled, once fluid bones on fire, built by frozen and crumbling, untrusted dreams cast aside in indifference, whose cracked knuckles and ripped backs jerk in unison for once.